Yeah, you're most welcome. Once again, I'm still your teacher Osbert Nwarinda. We are in the series of respiration, and we are basically looking at the cellular respiration. We are looking at cellular respiration, what some people call tissue respiration, other people call it internal respiration. Now, we say this respiration is a process by which energy is produced in the cell. Now, we are saying this energy which is produced in a cell, what is its importance? This energy we are producing in a cell, what exactly is its importance? In our body, why do we need energy, first of all? Is energy really important? Of course, like the way I told you some time back, some people, when you ask them at what's the importance of energy, they only look at, that energy is used in lifting things, playing football and so on, which is true. But specifically, we are saying this energy we produce in our body is very important for different reactions, for different things. And what are some of these things? One, we are saying, so we are going to focus ourselves on the uses of the energy that is produced during the process of respiration. What's that energy used for? In a plant or in an animal? Now, this first point I'm going to give is usually for animals, not for plants. And what's that? We are saying this energy is used in, number one, contraction. Contraction of what? Contraction of muscles. Contraction of muscles. Yeah, we are saying our muscles, for them to work, there is a need for energy. Without energy, that's why sometimes that means, for example, if you don't have energy, if you have taken time without eating, maybe you are fasting, dry fasting, you're not eating anything, not doing anything, at a given point you might end up not being able to walk. Why? Because for you to be able to walk, that contraction of these muscles needs some energy, and therefore if you don't have energy, you may even fail to walk, you may even fail to raise up the hand like this. Why? Because we are saying the contraction of these muscles requires energy, and how that energy brings about the contraction of muscles, that is also another serious biology that you can also interest yourself in, which is also part of these videos that we are recording for you. Now, so we are having energy being used in contraction of muscles. We are saying also this energy is also used in transmission of what? In transmission of impulses. Impulses are electrical messages. There are different ways how our bodies communicate to each other. One of the ways is chemical. Here in chemical coordination, we look at hormones. Hormones enabling the body to communicate to each other, helping you to communicate, helps different parts of your body to communicate to each other. But another way how your body is able to communicate, we call it nervous. It is nervous. And in nervous coordination, we take use of impulses, not chemicals, not hormones. Now here we use impulses. Now, so these are electrical messages that travel in nerves. These are electrical messages, electric messages that move, that travel along nerves in our body. Now, we are saying these electrical messages, for them to travel along nerves, that process of nervous transmission, as it is also explained in some of the episodes within this YouTube channel, the transmission of these impulses requires energy. For those ones who have studied about that, who have watched the video about nervous transmission, you know what I'm talking about. So we are saying, for impulses, for example, you have ever been moving and then you step on something which is hot, on a hot object. When you step on a hot object, of course, you have to remove the hand. We are saying before you remove the hand, we must the heat that is found in the hot object will be acting as a stimulus, which will generate impulses in your foot, and those impulses need to travel along nerves. They come to the central nervous system. From the central nervous system, they're able to be taken to effectors, for example, muscles of what? Of your leg, for them to contract. Remember, we have already said the contraction of muscles requires energy. Now we are talking about that even the movement of messages which are electrical from the foot to come to the central nervous system, to the brain, to the spinal cord for interpretation and so on. that one, those impulses for them to travel, they require energy. That means if you don't have energy, you may even fail to coordinate. You may fail to respond to what? To stimuli in the environment. You may fail to respond to stimuli in the environment because impulses which are supposed to enable you to bring about a response will not be able to travel. Why? Because they need energy which you don't have. So we are saying energy, transmission of impulses, is very important, requires energy. That's why we need to appreciate this process. Then we have other functions. And what are the other functions? For example, we need energy in growth and what? Growth and development. Growth and development. If you talk about growth and development, we cannot talk about growth and development without talking about cell division. Without talking about cell division. We are able to grow. At a given time, we were all very young. At a given time, we were just zygotes. A zygote is actually like a pin of the pen. A zygote, that is at first when the sperm and egg combine, they form a zygote. That's how all of us began from. That zygote is like that normal pen, big pen you are using, that pin that you use for writing, that's the size of the zygote that is formed on fertilization. Now you can imagine from that small thing to now, this large size that we are having, what has happened in our bodies is cell division. So cell division, when the cells are dividing, of course cells divide in a process. This cell division, for example, that we are talking about in this case is what we call mitosis. If you go into the process of mitosis in details, you appreciate that mitosis has got different stages also. And one of the stages is called anaphase. As is called anaphase. During this anaphase, for example, when for example the sister chromatids are separating, that stage of anaphase requires energy. It is an energy consuming. It's an energy consuming stage, for example. And therefore, we are saying without energy, that stage might be hindered. And when that stage is hindered, then we may not have cell division. And if you don't have cell division, then it means if the cells don't divide, then it means you're not increasing in size, you're not able to grow. So it means without energy, if for example you stop eating for some time, you may not add weight, you may not add size, you may not add weight. Why? Because we are saying what would have enabled your cells to continue dividing, to make you grow, to make you increase in size and so on, the energy is not there. So the process of cell division is being hindered, and that one can make somebody to become stunted. You get? So we are saying the energy is also used in growth and development. How? For example, we are looking at this angle of mitosis. We are saying this mitosis has got a stage we call anaphase, for example, which is an energy requiring phase. And of course, details about anaphase can also be found on our YouTube channel. So that is cell division. We are also saying that this energy is also used in active transport. This active transport also enables movement of materials in and out of the what? In and out of the cell. As materials are moving in and out of the cell, some of the materials they move by active transport. Whenever you talk about active transport, we are looking at the situation where molecules are moving from regions where they are in low concentration, and they are going to areas where they are already in high concentration. So we are saying once molecules are moving against the concentration gradient, they are moving from where they are low and they are moving to an area where they are already in high concentration. That is against the concentration gradient. During that process, there is need for energy. That's what energy comes from respiration. That means if we don't have this energy, some materials like, for example, glucose, when glucose is being absorbed, the food you eat, when that food is being absorbed in your intestines, it requires energy. So it means because it is by active transport. So it means if active transport does not take place, if there is no active transport, it means you may end up not being able to absorb like glucose, for example, and so on and so forth. So we are saying active transport is key. Is also one of those. Whenever you talk about you're in biology, you talk about something to do with active, just think about energy in that area. So we are saying active transport. We have secretion. We also have secretion of substances. Hey, when cells are secreting different substances, hormones, what, we are saying there is also usage of energy, and so on and so forth. So please, you can check out even for more details. Now, for all these things and how they happen and so on, as we go into the different subsequent episodes and different videos, all the things we shall be expounding on them more and more. Now, as I end, there is something more I want to ask you. We are talking about energy. From the start, we are talking about energy. Energy, respiration gives us energy. But my question is, how is this energy? This energy we're talking about, how is it? How does it appear? What is its appearance? And which kind of energy is this that we are talking about? If you want to know all these details, let's meet in the next episode. Thank you very much.